I look at the deadline they had, and I start to think about how do you go out and get that 1C? And it could be through free agency, it could be through a trade. How do you ultimately forge the relationships with players that make this place a destination again? And I look at two of the moves they made. Lawton had a horrible tragedy in the family. His father-in-law suddenly passed away. Where do the Flyers ultimately send him? Well, they send him to a place to give them a great package back, but they send him to his hometown in Toronto, which is huge. And a move that went very under the radar at the deadline was sending Eric Johnson back to Colorado. And like on the surface, you go, Eric Johnson, you're 7D. Why do you care? Giovanni Smith, like nobody cares. That is a move where you send a guy back to the team where he spent most of his career. That's a guy that you send back to the team that he wants to do anything he can to help that team win another Stanley Cup. It's a good human thing to do because Eric Johnson wasn't going to play here. He's been a good soldier. Danny talked about it post-deadline, that he was a good soldier, and they're just trying to do right by the player. That kind of stuff might not get a player like a Mikko Rantanen, who said there were only 4 teams that he wanted to play for, right? And like that whole debacle with Carolina. It might not get a guy like a Mikko Rantanen to say, you know what, I saw what they did with Eric Johnson, so make them team number 5. But it might be one of those very small things that helps you get a second-tier piece to consider your team or to get a top-tier guy to consider Philadelphia, or consider Philadelphia a little bit more strongly.